guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about my top 10 favorite fall palettes. So if that's something you guys are interested in, make sure you guys hit the like button, make sure you guys subscribe, and let's get on to today's video. So I am very excited to talk about all about my fall palettes. I have everything in front of me. I have done my makeup. My makeup is everything that's in the previous Shop My Stash. So I have my Hogwarts ColourPop Collab palette on my eyes today. I'm wearing, my base is the Ochre Skin Perfecting Stick from Merit. My concealer is the Rare Beauty Concealer. I have the Rare Beauty Powder. I have the eyebrows with e.l.f. Brow Pencil and just a clear brow gel. And then I did my eyeliner and my mascara. And then my lip is Belle from ColourPop and the Disney Designer Princess collection. So I'm wearing the color Belle. It's so pretty. Beautiful fall color in my opinion. So that's what's in my face, and the highlighter and the cheek products are also in that Shop My Stash. So I'm wearing the bronzer from Revolution, the cream bronzer. I'm wearing the powder bronzer from Hourglass palette, and then I'm wearing the blush in Joy as well as the blush from the Hourglass palette. So I kind of just wore all of my Shop My Stash products plus the Hourglass palette that I brought out because I've been wanting to use it because I see that they release new ones and I'm not about to buy them because I have this one. So let's talk all about my favorite fall palettes. I have 10 in front of me. Those are the only 10 that I can think of. I could see myself adding more maybe, but I just want to make sure I talk about these specifically. So let's start in no particular order. We're just going to start talking about them. First one being the ColourPop Wine and Only. I feel like this is such a beautiful color story. You get your burgundies, you get your beautiful kind of like toppers. I think this is a very beautiful fall palette. You get your cranberry shades in here as well, and you just get like that beautiful, you know, warm kind of like reddish look. So if that's something that you like in the fall, this is something you should reach for. I think that's a really good palette from ColourPop. I also have the ColourPop Plush Like Me, similar packaging, similar color, but this has a little bit more orange and more pink throughout it. You get your pops of like kind of like more warmer, like not, I wouldn't say orange, but like more warm neutrals. You get really beautiful kind of fall tones here, and these shimmers are stunning, you guys. I think these are very pretty, very easy to use for fall, and very simple. This is one of the most simpler palettes I think from this bunch for fall, but it just works really well, and the packaging again is just really beautiful. The next palette is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. Of course, this is a favorite for summer and for fall. You get your beautiful yellows, you get those pops of more kind of honey shades and those deeper shades. You also get really light shades, but the most that I love for fall is this deeper part right here. I love the shade HBIC. It's my favorite shade in the palette. It's just one of those favorite shades. The shade Sting. These are just beautiful, kind of like fall in a palette. In my opinion, that's what I think of when I think of fall, just like warmer, kind of like apple cider colors. That's just what I love for fall. The next one is one of the highest price palettes in my collection. It's the Natasha No Metropolis. This is still available on her website. I just have not reached for it enough, and I know I should. It's just one of those palettes that I forget about because it is so large. So this is the Natasha No Metropolis. You get your beautiful cranberries, your oranges, you get some pop of blue, you get your beautiful green tone, your khaki colors. This does have a couple of special shades. You get some chroma shades, chroma crystals, you get some, what's it called? You get some shift shades, the shifty. But for the most part, you get a range of neutrals, you get warms, you get, like I said, those pop of blues, like especially if you're doing costumes. I think these are really good to reach for and remind yourself that you have, if you have this in your collection. I need to reach for this definitely a lot more. I saw Chic Geek do a video using this palette of oldies but goodies, and I cannot say enough good things about this palette. It's a really beautiful palette. I do love it, but it definitely needs to get more love in my collection. The next one, of course, is the Witching Hour palette from ColourPop and Disney Hocus Pocus. They are releasing a new palette. I did already see it is already available on the ColourPop website. A very similar color story, I will say, to this palette. I'll go ahead and show you this palette. This does come with a mirror. I know their new one does not, but this is the Witching Hour Hocus Pocus palette. It did have some embossings on here, but they're kind of rubbing off because I've been using them. This has like a little cat and that has a moon. I think it's a very beautiful color story. I think it's perfect for fall. I think you get your really nice greens, your purples, your oranges, of course, and some more neutrals if you're into a neutral look for fall, which is fine. I love the fact that you kind of just get like to play with these greens and purples. That just reminds me of Halloween as well, because you know, this is the whole reason for this palette. It's a witching palette, like it's a Halloween themed palette. And the packaging is so beautiful. It has little cats on it. And yeah, it's just a really good fall palette. Again, like I said, I'm not interested in picking that palette up because I do have this one personally. Like I said, I think this is a very similar color story to what the new one has. I think I'll put a picture up here, but it's very similar, very pretty. That one looks really stunning, but I really do prefer this one. You get a nice mirror in here, by the way. You get a really good mirror, and I think that, you know, if I have this one, why do I need to buy a new one, you know? The next one is the ColourPop Sonic Bloom. This packaging alone reminds me of fall. November, December. Well, for me, fall is considered still through November because we celebrate Day of the Dead. And a lot of the, like last year, I did like a Day of the Dead themed birthday party because my birthday's in October. So we did like a Day of the Dead theme, and I did like all Day of the Dead stuff. And these flowers are the Day of the Dead flower. And I just think this palette does have those fall colors. You get a very special shade in here. It's called Verbena or Verbena. It is a really beautiful shade. It's such a special shade. And I think it plays really well with those deep purples and those deep plums. And also with those pinks in this palette. I think this is just a really well done color story in my opinion. And these shimmers are just stunning. The shade in Heyday I'll swatch for you as well. And the green shade in Hello Happy is also very pretty. I think this is one of those more unique palettes from ColourPop that has those special shades, because you don't get these a lot in the ColourPop palettes. I know the new Hogwarts palette that I have does have some special shades, but they just, the one of them I have on my eyelids, it just turns into an orange. It's supposed to be like a chrome kind of soft Super Shock, but I think this palette, the Sonic Bloom palette in particular, has those very special shades and those very unique fall shades. Reminds me of when the leaves turn color. It's just such a pretty palette. The next one is also a summer favorite, but of course I can't forget about it in the fall because it has those beautiful oranges, those deep reds, you know, those fiery smoky tones. You get these deeper kind of berry shades as well. You have Rhodium and Deep Dive, and those are also very deep and purple. And then you get your true reds. You have High Degree and Bliss is a very unique shade as well. I'll swatch some of these for you guys here so you can see those. And again, it's just a very fall color story, really pretty color story. And again, it's a palette that I think of when I think of fall. The next palette in my collection that I think of when I think of fall, of course, has to be my beautiful Moonspell from Lunar Beauty. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard about this palette. He released this palette, like, I want to say at least 2 years ago now. Let me see. I want to say at least 2 years ago now, and I've had mine for about I want to say almost close to 2 years, but mine is still hanging in there. This is the Lunar Beauty Moonspell. I know he came out with a volume 2. I didn't pick that one up because it had too much pink in it, and in my opinion, I don't really reach for a lot of pinks. I love more purples, so I think this palette has everything. This palette is based on witches from series and movies, so you do see Mary, Sarah, and Winifred in here. So these three shades are you have Mary, Sarah, and Winifred. Mary, Sarah, and Winifred. And then you have, you know, some characters from, I believe, you have Hermione from Harry Potter, Bonnie from Vampire Diaries, Marnie from Halloween Town, Nancy and Fiona, I'm not sure, Samantha, Kiki, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Paige, Phoebe, and Piper, I'm pretty sure, and Prue are from the, what's that series called? It's like all based on witches basically. So this is what that is. And it just reminds me of fall. I love this palette. The special shade in Prue is really pretty. And the Mary shade is one of my favorites as well. They're just very, very pretty shades and very unique shades, honestly. I mean, they're very repetitive throughout the color stories. That is why these palettes remind me of fall. A lot of these palettes have similar color stories because of that reason. That is why I believe that I reach for them a lot more in the fall time because of the color stories. So last two palettes that I think of when I think of fall. One is a little bit newer to my collection. I'm neglecting it so bad. This is a Red Dragon and Judy collab palette from Odin's Eye. They did a collab with Judy here. She is a YouTuber. She is Chinese, I believe, yeah. She's Chinese, and she did a collab palette with them, and she has these beautiful greens and these beautiful reds. You get a lot more deeper shades in here. I really need to reach for this palette more. I really neglect this palette. You get that this has a shift of green. Let me swatch this palette for you here. This has a shift of green in it, but you can't really see it in the camera, but in person you can see the shift. On camera you can't even see it, but it has a green shift. It's super, super pretty. You get a very bright red in here, and you get your beautiful neutrals. You get more warm colors. You get those beautiful greens, like those apple greens. They're just stunning. This shade I need to use more, you guys. Oh my gosh, look at that. So pretty. I need to reach for this palette for sure a lot more this year. This is just a palette that needs to reach for right before the end of the year, and next year too, because I don't use this enough. It's really pretty. Last but not least, a little more color story that's like a lot more cool, that reminds me of fall. Transitioning more into like the winter, but this is still a fall palette to me, in my opinion. It's the ColourPop Lust for Dusk. I feel like this one was so underrated. You get all your beautiful oranges, your cool tones. You get these very unique shades. You have Mood Lighting, Sunset Chaser, Shaken, Quiet Storm. You have this shade called Misser. You have Night Lover, which is also a very unique shade. You get those beautiful orange and purples. Let me swatch some of these beautiful shades for you guys so you guys can see why I'm obsessed with this palette for fall. I just feel like those shimmers on top of your eyelid, they just make your eyelids look so wet and pretty in the freaking fall. And you know, a lot of these cooler color stories, the reason that a lot of people don't reach for them in the fall, I think is because you're looking for the warmth, which is fine. But I think a cool color story like this reminds me of fall, because you think about the shades of like that are kind of going away, they're kind of dying off. Things are dying off when, you know, your cooler months are coming around. So I always think of these cool tones from this palette, and they're just really pretty and really good to use. And then again, of course, you get your neutrals, you get your warm tones, your more orange shades, without a doubt. So those are my top 10 fall palettes. Let me know if you guys have any of these palettes, if you guys reach for them more than other years or other times of the year like I do. I think I've been using these palettes throughout the whole year, but definitely the ones that get the most love around this year, I would say, are like these specific color stories, because those are what remind me of fall. And you guys know I always like to switch out my palettes. I do my shop, my stashes. I make sure that I use my collection, but these are the palettes that I want to reach for more in the fall time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys don't mind me rambling. I hope you guys have a good day, night, wherever you guys are, whenever you see this video. Again, let me know down below. I love chatting with you guys in the comments, letting me know what you guys like in the fall. If there's anything that you guys are catching that I haven't seen yet. I know there's a couple new releases. Like I said, I know there's a new Hocus Pocus release. I know that Revolution is doing a collab with Beetlejuice, which already released, but unfortunately sold out. I'm hoping it comes to a Walmart near me so I can pick it up. And then I also know that there's this other brand that's doing lipsticks. I think it's Smashbox, that's doing lipsticks that are like Halloween themed, which is really, really cool. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day wherever you guys are, whenever you see this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.